No great mind has ever existed without some touch of madness. Hey guys, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and today I'm going to do an unboxing of a new release fragrance from the niche house Art de Parfum, and it is called Le Joker. So when we return, we'll jump into that and more, so stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. A few days ago on I believe it was the 7th of this month, a fragrance house called Art de Parfum, it's a niche house, released a fragrance called Le Joker, and I was excited. I thought it was a really neat concept. This, in fact, is the very epitome of a concept fragrance, and I'll show you a little bit of the website. Actually, when I watched the press release video, I was really impressed. It's a cool soundtrack too, but I was really impressed because it reminded me of Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of a man on the very edge of madness, and really where the line blurs between sanity and insanity or madness is where Le Joker lie. So the very concept of the fragrance is all about contrast, and it has a lot going on with it. It's a very complex niche fragrance, so I'm looking forward into jumping into the presentation, taking a quick look at that, and then we'll jump into the actual juice and see what we can get our nose on and what kind of descriptors and mental imagery and mental movies, pictures that it makes for us. And we'll see if we can't paint that picture and see if this might be something worthy of having on your shelf. Now, I'll say a few things about it before I get into my usual presentation, which takes place on the other side of the camera because I want you to see things close up. But I do like the setup. So on the very front, you've got that really nice graphic, the Joker, Le Joker. We automatically think of, in the deck of cards, there's always a Joker, the iconic Batman's Joker. And it's interesting, the Joker as a villain, as a character, is extremely iconic. He's been played by many different actors through the years. A lot of people will argue who did the best Joker, you know, and most recently, of course, we had the Joaquin Phoenix version of the Joker, which I thought was brilliantly done, brilliantly portrayed, and it's got kind of a little bit of a nod towards that on the graphic here. The fragrance itself, I'll show you a little bit. It comes in a 50 ml bottle, and on the very back of the box, I'll show you that, and I'll actually read. It says, "Playful yet dark, sparkling Tamura pepper shines in this creation, revealing spicy and tropical accents. The vibrant spicy fruitness is followed by white powdery notes contrasted with warm notes of dark woods, smoky cigarette nuances, and ambergris. Essential oils that they use in here are pink pepper, tamur pepper, elemi, star anise, nutmeg, atlas cedarwood, cypriol, and patchouli." So it's really neat that they include the notes on the actual box so you know what you're getting into. A lot of times if people don't really like ambroxan or ambergris and you get a fragrance and it's in there and you're like, whoa, I didn't know that, or I wouldn't have purchased this. If you are a fragrance aficionado, or if you love specific notes and you read a note listing, you can kind of tell, like sometimes, unless it's just a really wild blend, you can typically tell whether you're going to like it or not by the notes listing. And that's really what attracted me to Le Joker, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it, seeing what that juice is like. So let's go ahead and bust open the cellophane and see what's inside the box. So I like small or diminutive bottles. This is a really cool one. It looks like it's almost like an ash wood stopper. So I think it's a really nice touch on this diminutive bottle to engrave the abbreviation of the house in the top of the stopper there. You can see that when the light hits it. AP, of course, Art de Parfum, standing for. And I like the simplistic but nice little font, Le Joker, on the front, Art de Parfum on the back, and again, it is a 50 ml bottle. So nice presentation, really nice. Again, small, diminutive, but effective, right? So, and I like the fact that you've got a box to put it in if you want to protect it or put it on your shelf. It's kind of a nice conversation piece. And that's always good. If your presentation comes with a little bit of something that you can add, if it's a nice fragrance, it's just an added bonus. That's how I look at presentation add-ons, similar to the box of Le Joker. So let's go ahead and check out that juice. We read the notes on the back of the box. Let's see what it's like. Bottle fits really nicely in your hand, even though it is small. So let's go ahead and 3-pump prime. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't spray super far, but it does do a little bit of a kind of a wide radius. So if you're spraying this, when I hold it close to your neck, you know that sensation when you sit down with a really good book and you're about halfway through, so you stop reading for just a moment so that you can appreciate that you're enjoying yourself, and you look forward to reading the rest of the book, but you kind of get pre-sad because you know that once it's over, because you've made it through the first half of the book relatively quickly, and then you look at the last half and you're like, that's going to be gone in no time and the story will be over. Similar feelings of like excitement, slight regret, a little bit of sadness feel like it's entwined with this particular fragrance. It does have that complexity to it, and it is definitely nuanced with a lot of different notes, including the ones that were mentioned on the box. But what I'm getting from this is almost like a walk-through experience. Like if you were to walk into a huge production, walk into the backstage of a huge Broadway production of a Shakespearean play, maybe in between set changes or costume changes. And so you're walking back into this broad, spacious area, but it's cramped with all these different weird sets and costumes, and people are walking hither and yon, to and from, and there's this guy leaning against the counter, taking one last long drag off of his cigarette before he puts it out. Beside him is someone else who's putting on makeup, and they're powdering their face and creating plumes of makeup dust. Their next door neighbor is eating a late breakfast, and they're downing some whatever it is that they're eating, and they tear open a packet of salt and it just spills all over the counter. And despite the barking profanities of their neighbor, they proceed to grab a packet of pepper and do the same, only it creates more of a mess. It's like a small mushroom cloud of a miniature nuclear testing facility or something. And so you have all these nuanced fragrances mixing together. You've got the smoky essence of that last drag of the cigarette. You've got a little bit of sea salt there. You definitely have a pepper. You've got a couple of different peppers. Now it talks about tamir pepper, sometimes called timet or tamir. This is a pepper that is relatively new in the fragrance arena. So that tamir pepper has actually been called Nepalese pepper. It's very similar to Szechuan pepper. It has the same properties. In other words, it's not really hot, but it's very kind of like a lemony top. So it's got kind of a lemony essence to it on the top. So it adds a bit of spicy fruit, which is really interesting. Star Anise is one of my favorite all-time fragrances because it's deep, it's rich, it's almost like licorice, but it's got like that fruity licorice overtone. Now the dry down of this definitely has a bite of Star Anise to it, and I love that fact. It's almost, it's very licorice-like. The tamir pepper is actually going to help this lift off the skin. So in terms of projection, I'm imagining that's going to have pretty good projection. Let's go ahead and though get right on the skin test. So a goodly amount of juice actually comes out of one spray, so I like that. That's a good quality atomizer. All in all, I really like the aesthetic balance of this bottle. Even though it is small, it fits nicely in the hand. A good bit of juice comes out in one pump. The stopper is kind of a nice balance. Got some negative space here, and we've got the dark wood with the AP engraving on the top. So I like the presentation quite a lot. Let's see if that's dried down enough to test. This is actually the epitome of what a lot of people like in niche fragrances. So a niche fragrance is more of, it's not something that you spray on hoping to get compliments. It's not something that you spray on before you go to the grocery store or before you go to hang out with friends because you want to hear them say, wow, you smell really good and clean. It is not a good, fresh, clean type of fragrance genre. Niche fragrances, if I could describe them in one phrase, is niche fragrances are to be experienced. Niche fragrances can tell a story. They can challenge your senses, allow you to think intellectually in terms of picking apart notes and determining what the note association is in terms of blend. Like, how does this make me feel? Why does this blend with this? Is there a contrast? Does it create an ambiguity? I think very much Le Joker is similar in Art de Parfum, just like the name implies, art, that fragrance in this case is art, imitating life, imitating fragrance. Massively confused everyone right now, including myself. No, but seriously, it is definitely something to be experienced. This isn't something that you want to buy again if you want to be fresh, clean, fresh out of the shower. This is a fragrance that it is to smell, to think about all the different life experience that you've had where this can be associated with. This, as a niche fragrance, is a neuro association to all the different nuances of art. As a concept fragrance, I think it perfectly captures what it's going for. In fact, on the very inside of the box, let's read that again. It says, no great mind has ever existed without some touch of madness. So this is your touch of madness, where those lines blur between sanity and insanity, madness and some calm expectation of what life is supposed to be like. That's where Le Joker lie. We all have a little bit of Le Joker in each one of us, and we all have something with which we can associate the experience that this fragrance is. So if you like fragrance as an experience, if you crave something different and slightly challenging, this might be something you'll find very, very intriguing. Before you purchase it, please try a sample. Don't take my word for it that you're gonna love it. Try a sample. Some people would call this challenging. It's a little bit slightly animalic, a little bit challenging to the nose. It's not gonna be something that you like immediately as soon as you smell it. It doesn't have all those bright popping fresh bergamot fruits or anything in it like that. Those fruits are in there, the passion fruit, the star anise, they're in there to create contrasts and nuances between the other notes that are in it. All right, guys, that was it for my first impressions and unboxing of Art de Parfum's Le Joker, an Eau de Parfum 50 ml bottle. It is available from their website. I do like it as niche fragrances go. It's one of those that has to grow on you, that each time you go back to it, you find something that you like about it more and more. So again, if you think you'd be interested in purchasing it, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can click on that and off you go. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my video today. And thank you, as always, so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.